What up, fam? It's your boy, Boy 2024, streaming to you live, as always, sitting on a park bench, talking about TV shows that are over 15 years old. Oh my God, we're quickly approaching the 20-year anniversary of Weeds. I think. Oh my God, I feel so old, chat. All right. As always, as you know, I'm still working on the Borderlands movie review. That has been. I'm almost ready to call that the lost episode. The lost episode. That is in limbo. That is hanging out in cyberspace in limbo somewhere. I'm trying to get it back. But I until then, I'm trying something new. I will continue the movie reviews, I promise. But I'm trying something new. I'm trying out these TV reviews. Yeah, here we go. Your boy, I watch TV as well, believe it or not. The best. Listen, we've heard these things. I've heard people talk the talk before about how, someone will say, oh, Breaking Bad is the best TV show of all time. That's cap. People will say, oh, Game of Thrones is the best TV show of all time. That's cap. That's absolutely cap, especially after season 8. That is so cap. No. If you want my opinion, I haven't seen every TV show under the sun, obviously. But I just recently, I've made a few references in a couple of past videos that people caught. But I recently finished the TV show, HBO's The Sopranos. Yeah, I watched all 6.5 seasons of that show. Yeah, there's a weird little they do a weird thing for some reason in season 6. It's like 6A and 6B. Season 6 is like twice as long as like a normal season. But they should have just called it 7 seasons. But whatever, they did a weird thing. But yeah, I mean that TV show has stood the test of time. People still talk about it. They still talk about the ending. They still talk about these characters to this day for a very good reason, because it's just perfect. It really is just like the perfect TV show. I mean, I don't know. I've given other shows a chance that were like quote unquote the best TV shows, but The Sopranos really is like the best show. I can't do it justice. I thought about doing a video reviewing that. I might do that one day, chat. But no, like my review is just go watch it. Just go watch it. Don't look up, like, go into it blind. That's the best way. Somehow I was able to avoid spoilers my entire time watching the show, because even though it's an old show, but like, yeah, it's way easier to avoid spoilers for that show than, say, something like Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but yeah, I'm doing this project. I've started this project that I wanted to share with you all. I've always wanted to do this with 2 TV shows. I've always wanted to watch 2 kind of similar TV shows back to back, like binge watch 2 shows and just kind of compare and contrast them. And recently I just started this thing. I just watched the pilot episodes of 2 shows. Long story short, this all comes from a podcast that I watch called Trash Taste. Yeah, it's called Trash Taste, so you can tell these are guys that they're similarly minded to myself. But yeah, they were talking about the pilot episode of Breaking Bad, and it really kind of intrigued me. And they mentioned how funny it is looking back in retrospect. Basically, at the time, the producers of Breaking Bad weren't even sure if they had a hit or not on their hands. They weren't even sure if they'd get past season 1, because at the time, there was this other show that people don't talk about at all, and that's why it's so funny in retrospect. But no, Weeds was like a contender. Weeds was like blowing up at the time, and they were so worried that they couldn't like compete with Weeds, because they had kind of a similar premise, and they were worried that like people would, dead ass, like, this is no joke. I know everyone's just laughing. Everyone in the chat is just going lol. Everyone is just doing crying, laughing, crying face emoji. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. At the time, Weeds was blowing up, and the producers of Breaking Bad were worried that they couldn't like hold a candle to Weeds. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we have seen which show has stood the test of time. Breaking Bad is considered one of the best TV shows of all time. People have nothing but good things to say about it. And the spin-off, Better Call Saul, is still, I think it's still going, or it's that became a whole series in and of itself. Yeah, it's wild to look at things like that in retrospect. So the reason the two shows are similar is that I'll just give you the quick breakdown. The whole thing with Weeds is that Nancy Botwin is a single mom. She's recently widowed. Her husband was like jogging or something, and it just suddenly died. He just suddenly had a heart attack and died, and left her with nothing. And so she's a suburban single mom. She's raising I'm trying to remember two kids. She has two kids, and she lives in this nice big house. And I don't think she has like a job or anything. And she's just like, oh my God, I was a housewife, and oh my God, now I have to pay the bills. So she turns to a life of crime, but it's like white collar crime. She's just like selling weed to like, suburban, whatever, suburban dads or whatever. But yeah, she has like her little crew, etc. But so that's Weeds. She's like bending her morals in order to get by, basically. Struggling parent bends her morals in order to get by, and that's what Breaking Bad is at the end of the day. So Breaking Bad, Walter White, he is a father. He's like this middle-aged chemistry teacher. And he has like kind of a hard life. He's got a wife and a son that I don't know what they say. I don't know if they say what he has. He might have like freaking polio or something. The son has a condition. He's like on crutches, and he has trouble speaking and all of this. And then Walter, he has to work two jobs. He's a chemistry teacher, and then he also works at this car wash, and like. Sometimes his boss makes him wash the cars, and then he sees, students from his school, and it's so embarrassing, yada, yada, Anyway, but Walter is diagnosed with terminal lung cancer, and so he only has a few years left to live, and he realizes, like, oh, holy shit, like, I'm a poor high school teacher, like, I'm going to die, I'm not going to leave my wife and son with any money, so I'm going to use my chemistry powers, and I'm going to make, like, the perfect crystal meth, and I'm going to sell it, and then I'm going to make lots of money, I'm going to leave money to my wife and son before I die. So I'll give Breaking Bad points that it definitely goes more into the science. Like there's more science. It goes more into how he makes the drugs. That's kind of interesting. Like he sets up like the chemical lab, the meth lab, and there's like all this stuff that goes into it. Whereas with Nancy, it's like there's nothing. It's just like it shows her hanging out with her friends, and they just kind of roll up the weed and then sell, and then bag it and sell it. And they weigh it on the scale. So there you go. That's as far as like the intricate process goes in that show. So yeah, I guess Breaking Bad is a little more interesting in that regard. And then yeah, you have with Breaking Bad, you have like the ticking clock, where obviously like Walter has cancer, so he it's built into the show. Like this show, I think it ran for 5 seasons. Like yeah, obviously this isn't a show that could run for 10 seasons because Walter's gonna die soon. So like, it's like you can only run this so far before you run into the ground. So that's cool. Honestly, like this is just my feeling on pilots in general. And I've heard this before. People tend to have a 3-episode rule. People tend to have a 3-episode rule with a lot of shows because it's true that the pilot rarely does a show justice. I've heard about this. There's many examples, but the one that comes to mind, all my friends, they were really into Venture Brothers back in the day, and all I heard from them, I've never seen it. Like I've seen episodes of Venture Brothers, but my friends all told me the pilot of Venture Brothers is absolutely terrible. Like don't watch the pilot. That's all I've ever heard. It's terrible. Skip the pilot. So like imagine if that was the only episode you watched. Like imagine if you just gave it like a 1-episode chance and you're like, oh well, that sucked, and then you just never watched Venture Brothers. You'd be missing out on a great show. So yeah, that's my little asterisk here, because like I'm just going off the pilot, but I am totally willing to admit that, hey, like you can't judge a show by its pilot, and I'm going to continue with both. I don't know how long. I mean, I'm going to give them, several chances. But, hell, like if I don't like a show, I don't like a show. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not going to, like, torture myself. So it's like, yeah, I thought both pilots were okay. But I'm not really feeling either show, to be honest. I'm really not. Like, I think they're okay. But again, well, no one talks about weeds anymore. No one talks. This video is probably triggering a memory in your brain where you're like, oh yeah, weeds. That was a show, wasn't that? You know, no one's talked about that since like 2006. But no, people talk about Breaking Bad. It's like the best show of all time. I mean, I wasn't seeing that from this pilot. Again, I'm sure it picks up. But like this pilot was okay. My favorite scene was definitely Walter freaks out at his boss at the car wash and like knocks all the stuff off the table and he's just like, oh fuck you and your caterpillar eyebrows, you know, wash this, and he like, grabs his crotch. It's great. No, that's great. It's great. I mean, Bryan Cranston is a great actor. But so is the woman that plays Nancy Botwin. I mean, if we're again, we are just comparing the two pilots. I'm gonna get roasted. I'm gonna get destroyed in the comments. But I kind of liked Weeds better. Nancy, like, well, they both again, they're both very similar characters. Like, they both have like very gray morals. They're both like in theory just trying to do what's right by their families, and doing. It's the age old story. Like, would you steal a loaf of bread to feed your family? You know, it's that age old story. And with Nancy, I'm gonna get so destroyed. I'm gonna get so destroyed in the comments. But like, I found Nancy a little more likable and a little more interesting because her turn. They both have like this dark turn. They both clearly have like the two sides, right? So like they have like the suburban dad or the suburban mom face, like the goody two shoes side, and then it's like when push comes to shove, when it's time to like when the chips are down and like I need to provide for my family, I'll do whatever the hell I need to do. They both have that turn, but Nancy I thought was actually more intimidating. I don't want to give it away, but like, long story short, there's this kid in her show, Josh. I don't know what's going on with Josh. I don't know if he's going to be like the Jesse of the show. I'll say this real quick. That's another point to Breaking Bad is Jesse Pinkman. They've just, again, this is just the pilot. They're just setting things up. But I know people love Walter and Jesse's dynamic. I know everyone loves them as like a duo, and I see that already. Like, they have a great back and forth. They have a great dynamic. He is the Robin to Walter's coke dealing, meth dealing Batman. No, they're good. They're a good duo, and that's something that I think Weeds really needs. I did not mean to rhyme there. That's what Weeds really needs. She needs a sidekick, and I wonder if Josh is being set up to be that. I think he is, but I could be wrong. Anyway, but yeah, Josh crosses the line with Nancy because Nancy, again, she's kind of a scumbag too. Everyone's a scumbag. Like, that's how Breaking Bad is too. And also Sopranos, if we're gonna go there. Everyone's a scumbag, but no one has morals. But no, Nancy is like, I'll sell drugs, but I won't sell. Well, she'll sell drugs to teens because Josh is, I'm pretty sure, a teenager, but she won't sell drugs to kids because she's a mom, and that's wrong. You can't sell. She's on the freaking neighborhood watch and the PTA. I won't sell drugs to kids. And she finds out that Josh is selling drugs to kids on the playground, and she's having none of it. And she's like, you got to stop. And he's like, he kind of calls her bluff, and he's like, or what? You gonna beat me up? Like, I'm stronger than you, and also oh, are you gonna tell my dad that I smoke weed? My dad smokes. His dad's one of her best customers. Like, his dad smokes weed, so he's not gonna care. So yeah, she is at the time. She's kind of like, oh shit, what do I do? But no, she gets some really good blackmail on Josh, and she really shows that gangster side of her. And she's like, all right, you're gonna follow my rules or else. And he's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want, So that's cool. That was really cool to see. And then at the very end of the episode, again, the actress that plays Nancy, I've never seen her in anything else, but she's great. She is so good. Like she like puts on this brave face. We see so many like sides to this character in just one episode, because she's like the put together suburban mom for her kid, in front of her kids. She's like the mom who has it all put together. And then when she like for Josh or whoever, like, she needs to be like the tough gangster who's like, don't mess with me or I'll ruin your life, and then at the very end, she like goes to this other guy's house, and she just has this moment where she just wants to be in the company of other people. And she shows like what she's really feeling, and she just like completely collapses in this guy's arms. Like, she just completely breaks down, cries, because she's like, I don't know what I'm just such a mess. I'm trying to be the strong parent here, but like, my husband is dead, my kid got suspended, my other kids, everything's just out of control. My other kid's like having sex already, even though he's 15. Everything's out of control. and I can't handle it. I need someone else here, and it's I'm just trying to be a single parent. It's so hard. It's a great scene. No, oh my god, I'm gonna get absolutely destroyed in the comments, but I prefer Weeds. I prefer Weeds. What is wrong with me? Yeah, I mean Walter, Walter so far, his only real rule was like, because Jesse's like, oh, like I want to try this. Like they make the crystal meth, and he's like, oh, we don't do the drugs. We just make the drugs. We don't we're not gonna actually smoke it, and that's it. Like so far, that's like I don't know. Like it seems like he's just like, yeah, we'll sell to whoever. Like I'll sell it to like, I'll sell it to Mickey Mouse. I'll sell it to like the girl with the lemonade stand. Like I just want to make some money and leave it for my kids. But yeah, and I definitely caught, so like Breaking Bad, it's a little derivative. I mean, they're definitely doing the amoral protagonist, which Sopranos pioneered many years earlier. And then don't think I didn't notice. Walter has a son named Walter Jr., kind of like Tony has Anthony Jr. Yeah, they're going for that. And then again, if I'm comparing the two shows objectively, Weeds began in 2005 and Breaking Bad began in 2008. And yeah, Weeds had a 3-year leg up on this other show. And, Breaking Bad, like it or not, it's similar. It's a similar show. And Weeds had a 3-year head start. So it's absolutely fair, for people to draw that comparison. And the producers, like I said, not only is it fair, it was so real that the producers were worried. They were so worried that the show wouldn't get renewed. Obviously, time has been on their side, and the show did get renewed, and it became a huge success, and people loved it, and it is talked to this day way more than Weeds. So yeah, I don't know. I guess the purpose of this video was just to, okay. I mean, everyone's just roasting me. Everyone's saying, trash taste podcast. You have trash taste. Slender confirmed for trash taste. Yeah. I should be on that podcast. Seriously, check out that podcast. It's so funny. Those guys are like 20 times funnier than I'll ever be. Seriously, no, check out that podcast. They're on YouTube. They have like trash taste highlights or whatever. Find the episode where they talk about Breaking Bad. It's so good. No, it inspired me to watch the show. It really did. Anyway, but yeah, everyone's saying I have trash taste. Everyone's roasting me alive. That's fine. Again, I'm not even comparing the two shows because I haven't seen the two shows. I'm comparing the respective pilots, and I liked. Here's the other thing. I think you all can relate to this. I have very limited free time, like for anything, to do anything besides YouTube. I'm a rising YouTube legend, and I'm dating Elizabeth Olsen. I am very busy, but yeah, I just don't have that much time for TV, and I really hate like the long form shows. Like what I mean is like, for me, a show is like 20 or 30 minutes, and that's what Weeds is. Weeds was a nice clean 30 minutes. They packed so much into just 30 minutes. They packed up the setup, the premise. They set up all these characters. Like I said, Nancy, she had so many different faces that she wore in just that one episode. Like it was great. And then Breaking Bad was also good, but the pilot was a full 60 minutes. It was twice as long. It took twice as long to say the same thing. You know what I mean? Like it was twice as long, and I don't like shows where and that was my one thing with Sopranos. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Sopranos gets away with it because it's great. It's a great show. It's the greatest show of all time. So like I'll give it a pass. But I hated that. And it depends on the episode. Whitecaps was like 75 minutes long. That's a movie. Like you cannot make a show that long. I'm sorry. That's not a show. That's a movie at that. If you're past 60 minutes, that's too much. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So Breaking Bad is too long. I'm sorry. So that gets minus a point for that. It's too long. I don't like the hour-long episodes. Seriously, I know everything. Everyone thinks I'm trolling them. Everyone thinks I'm just like trying to be a hipster or trolling people or like trying to get views. No, like if I'm gonna continue both because I want to compare and contrast both. But like right now, after watching the pilots, if I had to choose one show to continue, I would choose Weeds. I would choose Weeds. I'd be like, oh well, Weeds. I mean, I can get 2 episodes in the space of 1 Breaking Bad episode, and I kind of like Weeds better anyway. It's like, you know, it's a no for me right now. It's a no-brainer. I would just rather watch Weeds. If anything, I hope this video inspired people or reminded people that Weeds exists, and you can like watch it. I'm watching it on Amazon Prime for free. It's on this thing called Freevee. So like, there's a couple ads, but like whatever, it's free. Just watch it on Prime. Breaking Bad you can find on Netflix. I'm watching that on Netflix right now. Again, I don't hate either show. I don't think either show is a waste of time, but I truly right now, and I'm gonna do another video once I finish the first season of both shows. But I'm sure my opinion will probably change by then. But right now, yeah, I would choose to continue Weeds, and I would give up on Breaking Bad. What else? What else can we? Okay. Here we have Ralph in the chat. Ralph in the chat, he's asking the important questions. Ralph is asking, any hotties, any thotties, any milfs in the show. Not in Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, there's Skylar. I don't really like Skylar. I mean, I just started again. This is off of episode 1. I just started the show. Skylar, not that hot. She's kind of annoying. I don't know what she does. Like, is she like an artist or something, or does she have a job? That's what kind of my problem with both of these shows, to be honest with you, where it's like both of them are like, oh my god, you know, this unforeseen situation happened, and now I don't have any money, and like, what am I gonna do? And it's like, well, in Skylar's case, it's like you don't have a job, and your husband is a chemistry teacher, so it's like no shit that you don't have money, you know. Maybe get a better job, or get a job in Skylar's case. Whatchamacallit, and then frickin' Nancy, it's like, oh, you were a housewife all your life and your husband died. Well, you know, maybe if you had if you just worked at McDonald's, or, you know, saved up, or, you know, just get a real job, you know, like you don't have to deal drugs, like just get a real job. And like both of these characters just like are desperate to maintain their suburban lifestyle. It's like, hey, you know, why don't you like get a smaller house, you know, just move to like a smaller house, and then you wouldn't have as many expenses. I don't know, get like an apartment or something, just like get a small apartment. I mean, I live in a freaking dumpster. I live in the dumpster behind the AMC theater, so it's like I save so much money on rent. I mean, the car was getting expensive, so I got rid of it. I got rid of that. I just take the bus everywhere. Actually, I can't even afford the bus. I just walk everywhere. But you know, that's how I save money. You know, you just have to make certain sacrifices. You know. But yeah, no hotties in Breaking Bad so far. Yeah, Weeds, yeah, I almost said Skylar. Skylar's a thought. What's her name? Nancy has this best friend that she clearly doesn't like. She hates her, but yeah, she's a thought. Nancy's friend is a thought. Nancy's a MILF. Nancy is absolutely a MILF. Nancy, I mean, okay, I'll be on again. Like, what do I prefer? I prefer Weeds. Nancy is very hot, and the show knows she's hot, and the show has her constantly like wearing these very low cut tops. It's like, it's pretty clear what they're doing. Like, they're just trying to get views. I mean, hey, that's all. At the end of the day, that's what we're doing on YouTube. We're just trying to get views. But yeah, they're just trying to get views. They know Nancy's hot. They're showing her off. It's a little, you know, embarrassing, but like whatever. You know, like a lot of HBO shows are known to have excessive nudity and all that just for views. But yeah, Breaking Bad. So there's that audience. You know, there's an audience like myself who will definitely get something out of that. And then there's people that'll be annoyed by that. And hey, I don't blame you. If you're watching Weeds. I'm sure there's gonna be some ladies that are, you know, if some ladies are watching Weeds and they're like, oh, hey, you know, why is Nancy so sexualized? Like, why is she wearing these like inappropriate outfits to PTA meetings? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it. That's the same way like Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad has an audience. I'm sure there. You're not gonna believe me. No, you're thinking I'm exaggerating. Rewatch the pilot. I'm not kidding. I'll say 30%. 30% of the pilot, Walter White is in his underwear. He's in his tidy whities. So you want to see like a middle-aged suburban dad with the cringe suburban dad mustache. You want to see Bryan Cranston in tidy whities and nothing else for 30% of the episode. Like, that's Breaking Bad. And I was like, oh, minus 2 points. You know, I don't want to see that. I had to see that. I didn't see that for like, I'm sorry. It's again, I know which show is more beloved and which show has the more rabid fan base, but I'm just giving you my genuine reaction. There were moments in Breaking Bad where I was like, can we not though? Can we not? I mean, hey, look, listen, if you're that audience that is watching Breaking Bad, you're like, oh yeah, you know, middle-aged guys, tidy whities, oh yeah, hell yeah, you know, that's fine. You know, that's for you. It's not for me. It turned me off. I wanted to turn off the episode. If I have to look at Bryan Cranston's naked thighs anymore, if I have to look at his ass anymore, I can't handle it. I hope that's the last time we see him going around in his underwear, because I couldn't handle it. He also, this is minus another point. It was so stupid. I'm sorry. It's like I'm nitpicking, but like this is where we're at. You know, we're discussing the show. He hides his pistol. I've seen this in other shows, like in Sopranos. You know, you'd hide the pistol and like behind your back, like in the waistline of your, you know, in like the belt buckle or like the waistline of your pants. But he's just wearing underwear. There's no way. There's no way. He must have like the strongest elastic waistband in all of tighty whitey history, because like his underpants, there's no way he hid his pistol in his underpants. Like he does the same thing with like the waistband of the tighty whities, and like somehow that holds his pistol as he's like running around. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. No. So yeah, minus 2 points. Yeah, no. Yeah, and they also do. I'm sorry. I know I'm not picking this beloved show. I know. I'm just going off the pilot. I'm sorry. The pilot didn't like win me over. I'm sorry, but no. The pilot does a thing where it's a cool scene where they're like driving. You know, Walter and Jesse, they're driving around in the RV. This is the first like image. They're driving around the RV and they're wearing gas masks, and there's like 2 unconscious people in their back seat, and like, you know, you're like, oh, what's going on? You know, it's crazy. What's going on? Walter's in his underwear, like filming a video, and he has a gun in his hand, like, and the cops are coming. Like, what's going on? And then it goes back, and it's like, you know, 3 weeks earlier. You know, I've seen that trope so many times. Like, how did we get here? Let's flash back 2 weeks. I've seen that trope so many times. I hate it. I hate that trope. I like Breaking Bad is, you know, far from the first one to be guilty of this. I know, but I hate it. I hate that trope every time I see it. Weeds didn't do that. So like Weeds gets like 5 points for that. Breaking Bad gets like a minus. It gets like a minus 10 points because it had like the flashback trope, and it had Bryan Cranston in his underwear. So like that's like minus 10 points. I'm approaching 30 minutes. Okay, I gotta sign off. This is going too long. But yeah, that's my double review, a double TV review. Maybe I'll do more of these. Leave comments in the chat. What other 2 similar shows could I double stream and double review? Because this was fun. This was really fun. I like doing this. But right now I'm doing Weeds and Breaking Bad, and I'll let you know when I finish the season 1 of both of those shows. All right, until next time. GG fam. GG.